So I got a friend, not really a friend, this dork I work with. Um, he used to go to church at Joel Osteen's church, and I said, "Do you really think that?" I said, "Do you really think that that dude's a good pastor?" And he goes, "Yeah, absolutely." And I said, "He teaches a lot about prosperity, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, about being successful and stuff." And I said, "How often does God touch on that in the Bible?" And he said, pretty often." And I go, "Yeah, just off the top of my head, can you give me some verses that I could look at? Because I've been thinking about getting into the prosperity preaching, but my only problem is I feel like it's not really biblical, because it says it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven." So for me, I just kind of feel like, I don't know, this light burn on, I guess so. I just kind of feel like, I don't know about you, but, I don't know. It doesn't sound, here's another thing about prosperity preaching that, is what, it's kind of like this. What does it talk about, and what doesn't it talk about? Well, it doesn't ever talk about anything but yourself. It's all about you, which is kind of like how Lucifer is, Luciferianism and all that Freemasonry bullshit is all about me, kind of like prosperity. So I wonder if somehow that's of the devil. I would imagine it is, because it never talks about doing good for others. It never talks about, living the will of God. What is God's will for your life? Is God's will for your life for every Christian to be rich and balling out of control and making it rain? No. I'm not saying God wants you to be poor and miserable, but sometimes it's like, people need to be happy with what they have. You know what I mean? I don't have a car. This is the happiest I've ever been in my life. I live in a trailer with a pit bull and about 400 cats. You know what I mean? It's the happiest I've ever been in my life. I go into people's houses all day long that have tons of money, okay? They have 3-car garages, a pool the size that it looks like they could hold the Olympic tryouts in, and there's no love, there's no happiness, you never even met the husband, you know what I mean? Like, been there 5 times, you know what I mean? Even on a Saturday, the guy's always at work, allegedly, whatever, but none of that prosperity preaching. It's all about, you being successful, Everything that God and Jesus has done in the Bible was all for the benefit of others, was all about faith, was all about, it just wasn't about, nowhere was it about, he never told the 12 disciples, go out and don't take anything with you, because you're going to be rich, so I don't know. I think it's kind of like the Yeshua thing, or the Jesus thing. They only attack Jesus. They don't attack any other gods because there aren't any other gods. Prosperity preaching only talks about you because it's not biblical. You know what I mean? It's not even remotely biblical. They take a couple passages, oh, God knows the plans that he has to make you prosper, and, and da-da-da. Yeah, and how many times do they twist that verse around? There's like 3 verses in the Bible that talk about being, remotely, successful. That's it. God doesn't spend, there's not one book of the Bible where God spends, a huge chunk on, talking about your portfolio or investing. And it says, don't store up your treasures on earth. It's easier for a rich man it's easier for a camel to pass through an eye of a needle. Don't store up your treasures on earth. Don't love the world. Okay. It talks about not, Lazarus, or, I believe it was Lazarus, who's a rich man, and da-da-da-da-da, and, or the rich man, I believe it was him, that God told him, just leave all your things and follow him, and the guy got depressed because he had a lot of stuff and he was rich. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, this stuff isn't easy. This stuff is easy to debunk.